By the time Virex Global offered Janisa Howard a vice president title, she was already gone. Her desk was empty. Her email deactivated. Half their international clients had followed her out the door. And no one in leadership understood how the quiet night porter, the woman they barely looked at, the one security kept stopping at the entrance, had somehow become the most important person in the company. But if they'd paid attention earlier, they would have noticed the signs. Like the fact that she spoke 8 languages, or that she was closing deals executives couldn't, or that every client asked for her by name. Instead, they kept calling her facilities. And by the time they realized what they had, she had already built something of her own. This is how a janitor they ignored ended up becoming their biggest competitor. 3 months earlier, Janisa Howard pushed her cleaning cart through the executive floor at 2 in the morning. 11 months she'd worked this route. Same offices, same people who never learned her name. She was emptying trash when she saw it. An email on the senior VP's screen. Large font, highlighted. Portuguese contract deadline tomorrow. Translation firm backed out. Client flying to Sao Paulo in the morning. Deal is dead unless we find someone by 8 a.m. 2:20 a.m. now. Less than 6 hours. $70 million deal. Their biggest contract. Falling apart because they couldn't find a translator. Janisa spoke Portuguese, fluently, plus Spanish, French, Arabic, Mandarin, Korean, Tagalog, and Russian. 8 languages. Learned them growing up in Newark, where half her block was from somewhere else. She kept cleaning. Not her problem. She was facilities. At 3:15, she heard voices. The executive kitchen. Marcus Chen, the SVP. David Kamara, the COO. Jennifer Weston, the new VP. All panicking. "We've called everyone," Marcus said. "Every service in the tri-state area. No one can turn it around by morning." David shook his head. "Oliveira won't wait. He'll go with the German firm." Jennifer leaned against the counter. "Can we push the meeting?" "He's flying out at noon. It's tomorrow or never." Janisa set down her cloth, turned around. "Excuse me." They all looked at her. Actually looked at her. For the first time in 11 months. "I heard you need a Portuguese translator." Silence. David frowned. "We do. Why?" "I speak Portuguese." Longer silence. Jennifer glanced at Marcus. Marcus glanced at David. "You speak Portuguese," David said slowly. "Yes, fluently." "Where did you learn?" "I grew up speaking it, and Spanish, and a few other languages." Marcus stepped forward. "What other languages?" She didn't want to make it a thing, but they were staring now. "French, Arabic, Mandarin, Korean, Tagalog, Russian." Jennifer's mouth opened. David looked like he was doing math in his head. "You speak 8 languages," he said, "and you work as a porter." It wasn't a question. It was a statement with weight she didn't want to unpack. "I needed a job. This one had benefits." Marcus was staring. "Can you translate a legal contract? Technical language, financial terms, compliance clauses?" "I can try." David checked his watch. "It's 3:20. The meeting's at 8. That's not enough time." "How long is the contract?" 43 pages. She thought about it. 5 hours. Legal language. "I can do it. Send me the file. I'll have it ready by 7:30. They looked at each other. That glance. Making a decision about her without her. David nodded. "Okay. Marcus, set her up." Marcus led her to a conference room, logged her into his computer, forwarded the file. stood there, awkward. Do you need anything? Coffee? I'm fine. He left. She opened the file. 43 pages, dense legal text. Terms, conditions, liability clauses, payment schedules, compliance requirements. She cracked her knuckles and started typing. At 7:22, she hit send. Then went back to collect her cleaning cart. At 9:30, her supervisor found her. They're looking for you upstairs, executive floor. Someone named David. She took the elevator up. David was waiting. There you are. Come with me. He led her to the main conference room. 8 people inside. Marcus, Jennifer, other executives, and a man in an expensive suit. Gray hair. Confident. This is her? The man said. David nodded. Mr. Oliveira, this is Janissa Howard. She translated your contract. Oliveira stood up, walked over, extended his hand. You saved this deal, he said in Portuguese, Sao Paulo accent, upper class. The translation was perfect. She answered in Portuguese. I'm glad it helped. His face lit up. Your accent is excellent. Where did you learn? Newark. Brazilian friends growing up. He smiled. Genuine. Then you understand precision. Contracts are trust. He turned to David, switched to English. I want to work with her on all Portuguese documents. Not a service. Her. David blinked. Of course. Good. Oliveira shook her hand again and left. The room went quiet. Marcus, David, and Jennifer staring at her. Again. That was impressive, David said. We'd like to talk about a different role. Better use of your skills. She hesitated. I already have a role. We know, Jennifer said. But this would be better pay, better hours. You'd work with international clients directly. As what? International liaison. Translations, client communications, contract negotiations. It sounded good. Too good. 11 months invisible. Now, suddenly they saw her, because a crisis forced them to. Can I think about it? David looked surprised, like he expected immediate yes. Of course. Take the day. She nodded and left, went back to her cart, back to the bathrooms. That night, she called her sister Shanice, paralegal in Philadelphia, the person she trusted most. They're offering you what? International liaison, corporate role, better pay. How much better? They didn't say yet. What's the catch? Janissa laughed. Why assume there's a catch? Because there's always a catch when white companies suddenly discover black women are talented. What's the environment like? Janissa thought about it. People walking past without looking. Security stopping her every morning after 11 months. Executives talking around her like she wasn't there. I'm usually invisible. And now they see you. Because they had to. Shanice was quiet. So, do you trust them to keep seeing you when there's no emergency? That was the question. The next morning, she met with David, Jennifer, and HR. They laid out the offer. $58,000. Salary, benefits, a desk on the 4th floor, business cards. You'd start immediately, David said. We have contracts in Mandarin and Arabic. We need someone reliable. She looked at the offer letter. More money than she'd ever made. Respect, visibility, also a risk. But she signed it. The first 2 weeks were good. Small office, computer, phone, nameplate. People introduced themselves. She got invited to meetings, translated documents, Spoke to clients in 4 languages. Closed 2 deals first week. Marcus emailed, "Outstanding work." Jennifer stopped by to say the executive team was impressed. Then the small things started. Things easy to dismiss alone, but harder to ignore together. Like the meeting where she suggested a strategy for a Korean client. No one responded. 10 minutes later, a white colleague named Brett suggested the exact same thing. Everyone nodded. Great idea. Or being left off an email chain for a project she was leading. Sorry, oversight. Or showing up to a client meeting and the client asking if she was the interpreter, even though her title was on the invite, even though she'd been emailing him for weeks. The executive with her, Ron, laughed. No, she's part of our team. Didn't correct the title. Didn't say she led the account. Just part of the team. She let it go. All of it. Because she was new. Still proving herself. Maybe too sensitive. Then the promotion happened. Jennifer got moved to Senior VP. They needed to fill her VP role. VP of Client Relations. Janissa had been there 3 months. Closed 6 major deals. Client relationships bringing in millions. She put her name forward. So did Brett. Brett had 4 years at Virex, good at his job, reliable, but his numbers weren't as strong. Client feedback wasn't as positive, and he only spoke English. 2 weeks later, David called her in. She knew from his face, the apologetic tone before he spoke. "We've decided to go with Brett," David said. "Really tough call. You're talented, but Brett has more experience with internal processes. Clients are more familiar with him." She sat there processing. "I've closed more deals than Brett in 3 months than he's closed all year." "We know. Impressive. But this role requires institutional knowledge." "I can learn processes. I've learned 6 contract systems since I started." David shifted. "It's also about client comfort. Some international clients prefer someone who's been here longer." "The clients ask for me by name." He had no response, just smiled, tight. "We value what you bring. There will be other opportunities." She left his office, went to her desk, stared at her screen. Not surprised, just disappointed. That night she stayed late, opened her email, scrolled 3 months of correspondence. Clients, contracts, deals. Every major client had CC'd her directly, asked her follow-up questions, thanked her specifically. She opened the revenue reports, filtered by account manager. Her name, 8.2 million in new contracts. Brett's name, 4.1. She sat back, stared at the numbers, then opened a new tab and searched business licensing requirements in New Jersey. Over 6 weeks, things got worse. Brett got invited to meetings she wasn't. Her project load stayed the same, but visibility decreased. Emails got responses 3 days later. Suggestions ignored until someone else repeated them. One afternoon in the break room, she overheard 2 colleagues, Sarah from marketing. The promotion felt rushed. 3 months and already putting her forward for VP? Feels like a diversity push. Maybe she's just good. I'm sure, but people have been here years. Rules feel different for some people. Janissa stood there holding coffee, frozen. They didn't know she was there, or didn't care. She turned and left. That night she opened her laptop. She'd been working on something quietly. Business plan, client list, projections. She'd registered an LLC 2 weeks ago. Howard Global Solutions. Told herself it was backup, but looking at the spreadsheet, she realized it wasn't backup. It was the plan. She drafted emails, not to colleagues, to clients. The ones who asked for her by name, who trusted her, didn't badmouth Virex, just said she was starting her own firm, would love to continue working with them. More personalized service, flexibility, better rates. She didn't send them yet, but she wrote them and felt something she hadn't in weeks. Control. The breaking point came 3 weeks later. Tokyo deal. Manufacturing contract. $12 million over 2 years. She'd negotiated for a month, building trust, adjusting clauses. Finally, they agreed. She drafted the final contract, sent it to the client, CC'd Marcus. Client signed, deal closed. 2 days later, all hands meeting. David at the front, smiling. I want to recognize outstanding work. Last week we closed a major deal with Takahashi Industries. $12 million over 2 years. Huge win. I want to thank Brett Kowalski for his leadership on this account. Janissa sat in the back, staring. Brett stood, smiled, accepted applause. Didn't correct David. Didn't say Janissa led this. Didn't glance her direction. She went to Marcus after. The Tokyo deal. I led that account. He nodded. I know. Great work. David just credited Brett. Marcus sighed. Miscommunication. Brett was in some emails. David assumed he led. I'll clarify. When? Soon. Promise. She walked out, went home, opened her laptop, pulled up those client emails she'd drafted, read through one more time. Hit send. All of them. 8 clients. She didn't tell Virex. Over 2 weeks, 6 clients responded. 4 said yes immediately. The 4 yes responses represented $14 million in active contracts. She didn't celebrate. Just kept preparing. Rented office space in Newark. Bought insurance. Set up business bank account. Registered for EIN. Worked her day job. Built her company at night. No one at Virex noticed. Then, on a Tuesday in late September, she walked into David's office. He was on the phone. She waited. He finished. Looked up. Janissa, what can I do for you? She handed him an envelope. He opened it. Read. His face changed. You're resigning. Yes. Effective immediately. Can I ask why? I'm starting my own firm. He blinked. Your own firm? Doing what? International business consulting. Contract negotiation, translation, client relations. He leaned back. If this is about the VP role, we can revisit that. You're valuable. I'm sure you'll be fine. What about your clients, your projects? Everything's documented. Any competent liaison can take over. She turned to leave. Janissa. She stopped. This feels sudden. Sure you don't want time to think? She looked at him, really looked. I've been thinking about it for 2 months. I'm sure. She walked out, packed her desk. Didn't take long. Few photos, a plant, pens. Put it in a box. Elevator down. Jennifer was inside. Janissa, where are you going? Leaving. For the day? Leaving the company. Jennifer went pale. What? Why? Starting my own business. Doors opened ground floor. Jennifer stepped out with her. Wait, can we talk? Did something happen? Nothing that hasn't been happening since I got here. What does that mean? Janissa adjusted the box. It means I'm tired of being underestimated. Tired of people taking credit for my work. Tired of being the diversity hire everyone tolerates but no one respects. Jennifer looked stunned. That's not... We don't... It's fine. I'm not angry. I'm just done. She walked out, got in her car, drove to her new office, set the box down, sat, took a breath, opened her laptop, got to work. Over 4 weeks, the 4 clients who'd said yes formally terminated with Virex and signed with Howard Global Solutions. 2 more clients reached out, heard she'd left, wanted to work with her directly. By mid-October, she had 6 clients, $14 million in contracts, operating at a fraction of Virex's overhead. She hired 2 people, both women of color. Filipina translator who'd been freelancing. Black woman with an MBA stuck in entry level despite being overqualified. She paid them well, gave them equity, treated them like partners. Virex was panicking. Marcus pulled up her accounts, saw termination notices. 6 clients, gone. Emergency meeting. She took our clients, Marcus said. David's face went red. There's a non-compete clause. She never signed one, HR said. Wasn't in her offer letter. We meant to add it later, but it fell through. So she can just walk out and take our portfolio? She didn't steal anything. Clients chose to leave. No case. David looked around. How did we not see this coming? No one answered. Over 2 months, Virex tried winning clients back. Discounts, senior executive meetings, promises of better service. Clients listened politely, chose to stay with Janissa, because it wasn't about price. It was about trust. In December, David called her. She didn't answer. He left voicemail. Janissa, it's David. We miss you. We made mistakes. I'd like to discuss bringing you back. VP of International Relations, significant salary increase, full autonomy. Please call back. She listened, deleted it. 2 weeks later, he called again. This time she answered. What do you need, David? I wanted to follow up. We'd really like you back. VP role, autonomy, better comp. How much? 90,000 base plus bonuses. She almost laughed. She was already making more with 6 clients and 2 employees. I appreciate it, but I'm not interested. Can I ask why? Because I don't need you anymore. Long pause. I understand you're upset, but if we sat down, I'm not upset, David. I'm busy. I have clients to serve. Your clients used to be our clients. And now they're mine. Because they chose me, not Virex. Me. Longer pause. We made mistakes. Should have recognized your value sooner. Should have promoted you, protected your work. I'm sorry. I believe you, but it doesn't change anything. What would it take to bring you back? Nothing, because I don't want to come back. She hung up. That week, a journalist called, Keisha Barnett, business publication covering corporate diversity. I'm working on a story about Black women leaving corporate America to start businesses. Your name came up. Would you talk? Janissa hesitated. How'd you hear about me? Former Virex colleague, anonymous, said your story was worth telling. She thought about it, didn't want to be vindictive, but didn't want to hide either. Okay, let's talk. The article came out in February. The Invisible Exodus, Why Top Talent is Walking Away. Janissa's story featured prominently. Her time at Virex, her skills, accomplishments, the promotion she didn't get, credit she didn't receive, clients who followed when she left. Didn't name Virex directly, but people in the industry knew. Article went viral. LinkedIn, Twitter, discussed in boardrooms. Her phone started ringing. Other companies wanting to hire her, other clients wanting to work with her, other women wanting advice. By March, Howard Global Solutions had 12 employees and 22 clients. She moved into a bigger office, started turning down work, hired a COO, built systems, scaled. In April, Virex announced layoffs. 20% of workforce. International division hit hardest. Marcus let go. Jennifer too. David kept his job, but took a pay cut. Stock dropped. Investors asking questions. Meanwhile, Janissa signed a contract with a German client, $15 million over 3 years. Biggest deal she'd ever closed. She celebrated with her team, took them to dinner, toasted success, then went home, sat on her couch, scrolled her phone, saw an email from Rita, her old facilities supervisor. Subject line, "Proud of you." She opened it. "Janissa, I don't know if you remember me, but I was your supervisor in facilities. Saw the article. Just wanted to say, I always knew you were special. So glad you're getting recognition. Keep going." Janissa smiled, typed back, "Rita, of course I remember. Thank you for always treating me with respect. That meant more than you know." She hit send, closed her laptop, leaned back. Thought about a year ago. Pushing a cleaning cart, invisible, underestimated, ignored. Now here, running her own company, employing people who looked like her, building something that was hers. She didn't win by proving them wrong. She won by stopping trying to. And that made all the difference.